Hello and welcome to the Allplane Podcast, always with interesting guests that are busy redefining the future of commercial aviation. But first of all, and before I introduce today's guest, let me remind you that you can find all the previous episodes of this podcast, as well as many other aviation stories on our website, Allplane.tv, that's ALLPLANE.tv. Today we return to the wall of helicopters. This is a topic we have covered earlier in this podcast. Check out, for example, one of the very first episodes, Allplane Podcast number 7, with Charlotte Pedersen, a former Royal Danish Air Force helicopter pilot that later made a very successful career in executive aviation. And we have covered also a topic of advanced air mobility, which, as you will see, is another area that our guest is active in. Frédéric Aguettant is the founder and CEO of Helipass, a French company that makes it possible to book helicopter rides anywhere in the world with the same ease with which you could book a regular airplane ticket. Frédéric has long been working in the helicopter industry, but has also an eye on the emerging eVTOL scene. In fact, Helipass is active in several initiatives in this field. For example, is participating in the new Paris Air Mobility Hub that is being set up at Pontoise airport near the French capital, and has also partnered recently with Eve, the eVTOL arm of Embraer, to commercialize eVTOL rides the moment that Eve's aircraft becomes available to the public. But perhaps it's best if we hear about all of this directly from Frédéric. So let's welcome him to the podcast. Frédéric, how are you?
Very well. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you very much for joining us today to discuss Helipass and the story of the company you founded, and also some very interesting projects you have in advanced air mobility that we can discuss now. But I think first of all, would be great if you could give us a short introduction about who you are and your background in the world of aviation and business.
Okay, with pleasure. I'm Frédéric Aguettant. I live in France. I founded Helipass 7 years ago with the idea to digitalize the helicopter market. I started this with world tour during my studies for Airbus. It was named Aerospatiale in the past, and I worked for them during 1 year all over the world in all their subsidiaries to make a market study about the spare parts. And I fell in love of helicopter.
So and for helicopters, Aerospatiale?
Yeah, it was Aerospatiale Helicopter division.
It's part of what later became Airbus Helicopters.
Yeah, right? Now the new name is Airbus Helicopter. It changed from Aerospatiale to Eurocopter and Airbus Helicopter. So I know now this market. I see a lot of operators, aerospatial subsidiaries, and it was really great. So I developed a business, a family business in the helicopter with my father. He was not in the helicopter at the origin, but we tried to develop something together. And we found a helicopter company. We bought one after. And so we grow like that. And after I decide to develop my own businesses with a helicopter and jet company named Aviaccess in the past. I was also a distributor of Bombardier jets for their program Flexjet, the fractional ownership. So I work in this space since a long time as an operator.
Were you an operator then? You were operating.
Now I'm not anymore an operator.
You have created in 2014, I think.
Exactly.
Helipass. And Helipass is, if I understood correctly, is a sort of a platform, is a marketplace where you basically commercialize helicopter rides from a number of operators, right? 100
exactly.
plus 120 helicopter operators from around the world that can find customers through your platform. And if you are looking to hire a helicopter ride, you can come to Helipass and book a helicopter ride the same way as you would with a flight in a booking platform.
The idea first was to develop the sightseeing market It's a huge market. It's around 6 million passengers per year who flying in each company over the world. But each company is selling his own destination. Okay. Yeah. And what I understand, it was really difficult when I started to try a tour when I was in New York. So I asked the concierge of the hotel, and so he put me in relation with the helicopter company. And for the next tour in Dubai, I try also ask the concierge, see what's on the internet. And at the end, I said, okay, I'm a traveler like a lot of people. I want to do experiences at the destination. How can I manage my trip? And the idea is to say, okay, we open a platform, we sell, and also we book. What is very important, I mean, if you call, you can buy something on the phone, or you go directly to the heliport and buy it, but you don't have the payment, the invoice. You can't book your exact date, hour, number of passengers, and everything. What is very common for the airlines, train, this is common for you and for me. But in the helicopter, there is nothing like that. Some of them can sell on the web, but you can't book on the web. So I said, okay, it's time to do something very seamless, to start with one offer in Paris. So we start a contract with an operator, and we said, okay, we will manage all the flights for you. We manage the payment, we manage the booking, we manage the operation also. We help for the operation, and we design the tour also, because they have no activities in Paris. So we do that directly on our website. Secondly, with a lot of distributors, we distribute the market with Viator, Get Your Guide, and after we had a great chance to sign with Airbnb, for example, because Airbnb is selling places, rooms, villas. And after he said, okay, what can I do more? Experiences. Okay. Yep. So I called them when they found Airbnb experience, and they said, okay, let's go for it. It's wonderful. So we do that in Paris, and after all over France and Europe, and abroad and abroad and abroad. So we talked to a lot of operators. They like this idea to sell their tour from other partners. And for them, it's really easy and seamless. I mean, they receive on their email, and they have a back office. They receive all the information. They just do the ride. The payment is done. The name of the people is done. We have a lot of things like weight of the passenger for the balance sheet for the helicopter. And we give all the information to the customer, and we give all the information to the operator. So for them, it's easy. They don't need to sell, to have phones, to spend time and waste time and money on this market. They just wait and catch the reservation.
Yeah, that's the beauty of marketplace, of digital marketplaces.
Yeah,
you can aggregate
exactly.
all this local demand.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
So it was a very, very local market that you took, and you provided a unique gateway to
exactly
on a global basis.
Yeah, we are kind of booking.com for the helicopter.
So you started in 2014 with this business. You said, I think on your website, you have carried 67,000 people so far.
Yep.
Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah. And you provide access to 40,000 points. So points where theoretically can be reached on these helicopter rides.
Yeah.
You mentioned the tour market. Are you also active in other segments of the business?
Yeah, exactly.
Helicopter shuttles.
Exactly. With the after the tours, we had a special experience because we want to disrupt this market, and said, okay, let's go to launch something else. So we invent Ubercopter. We go to see Uber in France, and said, okay, we want to do a Ubercopter with you. They like the idea. So we do that in south of France during 10 days. And it was really wonderful. I mean, we contract with the operators locally, and said we try to do something. We take the risk of the passenger seat, and we buy helicopter, but we sell by passenger seats. So we take the risk. We put that online with Uber. directly on the Uber platform.
When you say you take the risk, you mean you
money risk.
You bought a number of spaces in advance in the helicopters?
I bought all the flight, but I sell each seat in the flight.
Okay.
I mean, normally when you come in south of France and want a trip between Nice and Cannes, because it was during the movie festival.
Okay.
So between Nice and Cannes, you pay 500 euros and you have 3 seats on board.
Yeah.
I said, okay, I'm alone. I don't want to pay 500. So I take the risk. The operator doesn't want to take the risk, the money risk. So we take the risk directly to sell per seat. Okay. So we put a price, we put that online directly on the Uber app. That means there was Uber X, Uber Green, and Uber Copter.
Okay.
And when you arrive at Nice Airport, you can book your Uber Copter directly online, clack, clack, and it's done. And we do the interface between Uber and the operator.
And that was promoted by Uber. So how did
yes,
people
directly by Uber and by ourselves also.
Okay, and that was 10 days because it was the
period for the festival.
Okay, the cinema festival in
yeah.
Okay, and did this continue later on, or?
Yeah, we tried to continue later on, but what is very amazing is that after I talked to Travis, the founder of Uber, and said, okay, it's time to do a Uber Copter worldwide. We try here, try on another destination, and try. And so this was the beginning of Uber Elevate and Uber Aviation, and the beginning of what Uber did in the future. That means open the eVTOL business. We were at the beginning of that. We try in our small place, like that. And suddenly incredible, Uber takes the business, the idea to open a new idea worldwide. It was crazy. Uber has a great feeling about what's going on the market. And so after we work with Uber Elevate, and now it's the idea is sold, as you know. And so now we work again. We know how it works. We had a great experience in that. So now we try to develop the transfers on the airport with the operator between Nice and Monaco, New York, Cape Town, Macau, Hong Kong, and so on. So we try to develop that. And after, we do also on-demand flights. That means point to point, you choose your point 1, point 2, from this place to this place, which helicopter, how many passengers, and go for it. So it's easy.
And Uber has a partnership with Blade, I think, right? In New York?
No. Uber is alone in New York.
Okay.
With another operator.
Okay, but they
had his own business.
Okay, they work directly with the operator in a way similar to what you do in for example, in Nice.
Yeah, we had a lot of discussion with Rob from Blade. We are partly on the same segment.
Okay.
But not the same way of working. He is on the transfers in New York. We are in transfer worldwide. We are mainly a marketplace and software as a service also. So it's a bit different. We work with them sometimes.
Okay.
We can propose their flights on our platform. We do it. And this is the idea. We don't want to compete. We want to open the market. That's all. Helipass is focused on opening the market and leading the booking business in the helicopter.
And what is the profile of the typical user? I guess there's many different types, but got the impression it's a bit of a premium product. So
no, it is not.
No?
It is a convenient product.
Okay.
For the sightseeing, it is only an experience.
Yeah.
Okay. So like you want, I don't know, a horse riding or something like that.
Yeah.
Or going to a restaurant, it's exactly the same kind of experience. It is cheap, accessible, and easy to have. So the customers is everybody like you and me. going in a new destination and want to do something. For the transfers, it's a bit different. It's really convenient. I mean, when you pay 160 euros or 119 US dollar, it's not money. I mean, when you pay your flight, 1,000 euros, you can pay small money for first reaching the end of the destination, last kilometers from New Kennedy to Manhattan. It can take an hour 30. It takes only 7 minutes by flight. It will be transformed as an experience because you fly around and you can see the destination from flight.
Yeah,
so you can mix, you can mix the two experiences. That's cool. And it's not very expensive. So the way is we want a lot of people using the helicopter. They don't know anything about the helicopters. They know about planes like you and me because a lot of people are flying, but helicopter, what is it? They think it's expensive. They think it's not affordable, but at the end, okay, just pay that. So the importance is to be there, very present on the web, to democratize the use of the helicopter.
Actually, that was my next question is how you market this, how you promote it. Because, for example, if I'm not a regular helicopter user, it would possibly didn't come to my mind like, yeah, there's this platform where you can book helicopter rides on your next trip to Paris, for example. How you make sure that you are in the mind of people or in the mind of people that are potential customers for this type of service?
It's a good question. When I leave the business of operator, I want to learn something else with my expertise. And so I said, okay, I know very well the helicopter business, but I want to do something else. And I understand that the digital is a way to have new skills and mix together to develop. So we are very present on the internet with Google partnership, with all the social networks. We use all of that. We have a team dedicated to that, doing everything every day about the business. And now it's around between 600,000 and 1 million people coming a year in our company, in our website.
6,000?
600,000.
600,000. Okay.
Yeah. And so it's growing each year more and more and more and more.
What's your main market? Is it France?
No, Europe.
Okay, Europe as a whole. But are there specific cities or routes or
Paris? Paris is definitely a must-have. After, depending the period, we had a lot of business in New York before COVID. We fly every day in New York with our partners. Okay. Every day in Monaco. Dubai is a good destination also. And we try to have new segment of business on events like Formula One and so on. So we say, okay, let's go to see one event, and if we can do something on that. Each time it's like that. We try one, and we with the COVID it was a bit different. I mean, a lot of lockdowns everywhere.
Yeah.
So we cannot fly. So we lose a lot of customers. Not tourism. So we lose again. So we become locally. So we try to work around each destination for people around, or national business. Everything is moving like that. But I have some customers flying with us in Paris and also Dubai and New York, and depending when they are.
Your business model is a referral, a commission basis for each transaction that you produce for your partners.
Exactly.
For your operator partners.
Exactly.
Exactly. Okay. And another thing that caught my eye when reading about your company is that you've been quite active in what's being called advanced air mobility. So all the new upcoming generation of eVTOLs and other flying concepts that are similar to helicopters in some ways, but a completely new breed of vehicle in some other way. So in this case, you recently, for example, announced a deal with Embraer, Eve, which is the eVTOL arm of Embraer. One thing that caught my eye is you basically contract package of hours with Eve. So that made me wonder, what's the business model? How does this work in practice? So who's going to operate these eVTOLs? Is this Eve is going to be the operator, and you're going to be commercializing, or you're going to get involved as well in the operation of these eVTOLs?
To be clear, there is a market of flight hours, and it's transformed, it changed in number of passengers. We are not an operator, but because of our history, we know very well the status of operator. They are very traditional, and we are trying to help them to develop new services and new way of flying. So first, Helipass is an agnostic platform. So we will have all the eVTOL manufacturer. Mm-hmm. We talk with both of them. We have contact with some of them, and we have the pleasure to have a first agreement with EV. For us, it's very important. This is a great company, and moreover, EV is from manufacturer of planes. So I know that they are very powerful in terms of certification, in terms of understand the need of the customer. So it's not only a startup company from nowhere. That is cool, because look at Tesla. Mm-hmm. They start from nowhere, and it's a success.
Yeah, actually, I must say, we had here on the podcast, we had the head of executive aviation design at Embraer. I might not be quoting the title exactly, but basically the person that designs Embraer's business jets, new concepts and all that. So yeah, that was really interesting stuff they are doing there at Embraer in terms of new design and new ideas.
Yeah, it's wonderful. The fully idea, be an agnostic platform. Mm-hmm. I want in your pocket our platform. If you are in Paris, London, Rio, mm-hmm. and you want to catch a VTOL, you need to see all the VTOLs in the area, from EV, from Volo, from Lilium, from the vertical aerospace, or from an operator. I don't know, because all the models are different. Yeah, you know, some of them are vertical and others no. So we will help EV to access to the operators. And when you sell an EV, you sell also the way of marketing the product, the way of selling the product. I mean, you are not only selling a tool, you are selling a full organized tool from operator to customer.
And the flying hours, how do the flying hours fit into this picture? You sell...
There is first, everybody is talking about flying taxis. You think at the end of your door in town, you will have a VTOL taking you to your office. Okay, this is the way they think. In some countries, in some cities, it should be okay. Los Angeles, for example. But in Berlin, it's a small city. It's difficult to have a VTOL downtown directly at your door. So you need to take a cab to go at the vertiport to take and so on, so on, so on. So it should be a great experience. And there is a lot of things to do in that. But my first stage on that is we take care of this market and we understand this market, but we take care also of the sightseeing market. Okay, so there is a number of flight hour really huge. So we will target this market first because it's running at the moment. Mm-hmm. This is good market at the moment, 6 million passengers. So it's a good market for that. And for the touristic market, there is a big problem with the helicopter. They are banned from cities due to the noise and pollution. Look at New York. The mayor took first action to decrease 20% of the movement for the next 2 months. And after he said, okay, now it's 50% in 6 months. Mm-hmm. So you lose your business, you lose the occasion to discover the city, and you know that tourism is a strategic thing for a country, for a city. It's a lot of business, it's a lot of jobs, it's an attractive system for understanding the country, do the promotion of the country to attract investors, tourists, and everything, and have your place in the world as a big city. So I think it's fully bullshit to buy trees to make the balance with the pollution. At the end, I can pollute because I buy. So it's the first stage, and it's okay. I understand that this is the only tool we have at the moment. Okay, but now we need to go zero emission, and the electricity is the occasion for that. And so I think just on this market, it is okay.
I wanted to ask you about the average duration of a tourist flight of this type.
20 minutes.
Okay, so then there is no problem with the battery capacity, which is one of the main constraints.
Yeah, today, but not tomorrow.
So you
today, but not. You don't fix the picture. The picture is moving. I'm okay. At this stage, there is between 5 and 20 minutes, or 5 and 30 minutes, depending the size of your eVTOL and so on. But everything is moving. Like with the cars, beginning it's 200 kilometers, now it's 700 kilometers. So it's too long to recharge, reload the system. Now you have fast charger. So everything is moving. I think the picture of today is not the same. It will not be the same in 2 years and 3 years. So it's important to say, okay, everybody is making effort to bring this at the right level. And we will have, and I think the countries must help this business growing like they help the automotive market with the electricity. And the only occasion is that for the operators to transform their business, part of their business, in an electric business, part of it. And it's easy to start with the tourism because it's a market, definitely. There is a lot of money. The market is growing, and the tourism is also changing its mind in a more ecological, more environmental, more sustainable business, like the hotels, airlines, and everybody. So we can do that.
You are part of a project taking place in Paris. I think it's led by the Paris region, but also has involvement from Aéroports de Paris. So it's the airport operator that manages the main Paris airports. I think there are a few other major...
RATP. Yeah. RATP is in charge of the
metro and buses, right, in Paris.
Exactly.
So it's very... And some other industrial partners from France and maybe some other international players as well. So basically, from what I read about this initiative you are part of, the idea is to create some sort of research, development, and testing location in an airport near Paris, right? In Pontoise, it's called.
Pontoise, exactly. Pontoise. You know very well.
I read about this project, found it quite interesting because it's like a who's who of this sector in Europe. So everyone is kind of doing some activity there in relation to this new development hub in Paris. So what can you tell us about this, and what's your involvement in particular from Helipass?
First, this is something done by Paris region. Paris region is attracting investors in his region. And we are trying to make an excellence place in Paris, involving all the major stakeholders of the market. So we are 30 people, 30 companies, laureates. So we put we send a paper explaining what we want to do, and they select 30 companies on 150 projects.
Is only for advanced air mobility and eVTOLs, or it's broader?
No, they do for a lot of things, and there is one for the eVTOL. So our business is only for the eVTOL. So they attract OEMs, manufacturer. Yeah. They attract handling. They attract research. They attract operational. They attract digital. And it's a place where everybody can talk and exchange, because we are not at the same level of market, and we are not doing the same things. So this is a real ecosystem of the urban air, of the air mobility.
Yeah.
I don't want to say urban air mobility because it's not only urban.
And what's your involvement in there in terms of, in practical terms? So what's Helipass doing and how you interact with all these other players that are there?
We give the experience of what we are doing in terms of operation, how to manage the passenger, welcome desk, information and doing. We help them for how we can promote it. And our focus is definitely on the customers. So we are starting for the customers, going back to the operator and the OEM. And we help them testing the way the customer wants to enter in this business by internet, by brick and mortar company, or depending what they want. And how long it takes to onboard the customer in the VTOL, how long it takes to move the VTOL on the ground. Because here in Paris, we are based at the Paris heliport. We have a hangar with a lot of helicopters.
Where is that in Paris?
West of Paris.
Very far from
No, just near the peripheric. So it's
just the motorway that goes around the city.
Yeah, the motorway around Paris. We are just at this place southwest of Paris.
Okay.
So it's easy access. There is metro, buses, everything you want. So everything you want.
And when do you have real passengers to test all this on?
At the moment,
I mean, for the eVTOL.
Just to test, I think we can have that in 1 year or something like that, depending the acceleration of the OEMs. I think Volocopter is ready for that. So if it's on the ground with a mock-up with something like that, we can do that next year. We explain them how it works with helicopters. It's partly the same.
Yeah.
I mean, take care of the passenger, identification, the security, on board, seat belts, all information about that, flight, go back and explain. That sounds the same with more updated version. I mean, how I can manage that you are the right person on the boarding pass. So we work on that, for example, for the security. We work also to how long it takes to start, come and go in the helicopter. Because, I mean, when you take a cab, you are on the ground, you open the door, you go in, and that's all. When you take a VTOL, you need to book it, send your information. I am this person, my ID is this one, because like in a plane at the moment, perhaps some things will change, but I think there is a lot of regulations from airlines. So you need to be referenced at the beginning.
Yeah, that's something that is often not very talked about, is all these procedures, because we're just kind of assuming that it's going to be like taking a taxi. But if there are all these security procedures, then the whole thing becomes a bit more cumbersome, depending on how you organize it. So with Eve, I think I read on the press release the expected entry into service would be sometime around 2026.
Yes. This is a plane manufacturer. They know very well the certification system.
Yeah.
So they said in the state of today, it will take this longer. It's easy to say that we will fly next year, we will fly in 2024 and so on. But I think it's not easy at the moment. And we understand that EASA, FAA, the regulators, now take the project and want to help accelerating the project. So it's cool for everybody.
And what about?
But you need to do that in the right period, and so it's not easy.
What about helicopters? When eVTOLs become more mature and they become more common, are they gonna be? Do you see a future where both coexist, or let's say the eVTOLs, the new generation vehicles, will somehow take the place of helicopters for many functions?
It's really a good question.
eVTOLs seem to be more cheaper to operate in at least from what I read. I mean, you know the numbers better because obviously you've been evaluating both. So I guess there are some functions, helicopters still possibly have more capabilities, but there are many other functions which, if they can be operated cheaper by eVTOLs, then I guess that will have an impact on the usage of traditional helicopters.
I think depending the market. When I used to talk to operators last year, they said, Fred, you're crazy. No eVTOL, blah, blah, blah. Well, yeah, perhaps in 20 years. And it's not our market. Now things are changing. Then they understand that for some businesses, VTOL will be the solution. And for some other businesses, helicopter will always be the solution. I mean, if you want to do a flight between Paris and London, it's 1 hour and 50 minutes. Only the helicopter can do that, or the plane. There is no competition for that at the moment. Perhaps in the next 50 years, but not now. Like exactly the competition between the airlines and the train. There is not always competition. The VTOL, at the moment, the VTOL is for short trip. I know some of them want to do a long trip, 1 hour or something like that. So it's cool. And we will have that. But there is a lot of work done by helicopters. Logging, medevac. Medevac from in town, it's okay for VTOL. But medevac, when you see that the flight is 1 hour or 2 hours from a hospital to another hospital, it's not the business of the VTOL today. But this is an occasion to, at the end, help people flying and discover something. So I don't care if it's a VTOL, a helicopter, or a plane. It's cool for everybody. There is place for everybody. I'm okay that the VTOL will be a bit cheaper. I'm okay with that, but not very cheap.
Yeah.
Not very cheap. You will not buy it $10 the flight.
Yeah, I guess at what point, I was thinking at what point something is considered an eVTOL and at what point is considered a helicopter if we're talking of the future of increased electrification. So if helicopters at some point get electric motors, would they then be considered an eVTOL? So what's the technical definition? What's the borderline between one and the other?
Yeah, I don't know. I think there is a mix of something. Two things are gonna coexist.
Yeah.
And in the end, we'll learn from each other and we'll merge in a new thing at the end. More powerful, perhaps the powerful or long range is today a challenge, but will not be a challenge in the next decade. And we will move on that. And if you see the traditional OEMs, Leonardo, Airbus, Bell, and Sikorsky, they are all taking care of that because they know there is a market and this is the way. This is the only way. They understand the pressure of the environment also.
Yeah, I think that's a great point to wrap up here. Where can people find more about your company? Helipass.com, yes?
Helipass.com is the company, is the website with all the information of what we do. And
are you on social media channels as well?
Yeah, we are also on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, everything, WeChat for the Chinese people, and
always as Helipass.
Yeah, always as Helipass.
Very good. Well, I'll keep it in mind for the next time I go somewhere where it's nice to see
visit
through a helicopter.
And if you come in Paris, I don't know if you travel a lot. If you come in Paris, it will be a pleasure to see you or next time on a show, or I don't know.
Hopefully, yeah. Just restarting travel now. Got my first plane trip in a very long time last month. So hopefully.
To do what flight?
I went to France actually. I went to the airport Basel Mulhouse. It was nice to be back again on a plane.
I was in South Africa last week. And in Dubai in April. So I restart travel since the beginning of this year. We used to travel twice a month to see operators and partners and make the deal around the world.
Yeah, well, let's hope that travel continues to recover and
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's recovering.
Yeah, I was surprised to see the full plane when I was
Yeah,
traveling. So yeah,
yeah,
that's a good sign.
it's
Anyway,
a good sign.
well, thank you so much for your insights today, and wishing
Thank
you
you,
all the
Michael.
best with all these very exciting projects that you are working on.
Yeah, yeah, with pleasure.
Thank you. Before you go, and if you like this podcast, a quick reminder that it would be absolutely great if you could please give it a rating on Apple, Spotify, or whichever platform you're using, or recommend it to a friend or whomever might be interested. Thank you very much and see you soon.